Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. Things are a little quiet, meaning there's not a lot of crazy price action going on, but everybody seems to be holding on to their gains. Bitcoin is trading at 10,706, and I want to show you an interesting chart. This is not TA. This is a comparison between Bitcoin and XRP at the end of 2017. You can see here that when Bitcoin had its 1,000% up gain for 200 days, XRP just moved sideways. It wasn't until Bitcoin hit about 15,000 to 17,500 range that it started to spike. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see the exact pattern this time, but a similar trend was also in 2014 and in the beginning of 2017. If we look back at July 2014, Bitcoin had spiked to $645. It wasn't until 4 months after that, in November, the end of November, that XRP went from 0.009 to 2 cents. And then again, in the beginning of 2017, when Bitcoin had its real nice price action in March 9th particularly, it was 2 months after that, in May, that XRP had a serious pump to 4 cents. So I just don't know, but if history tells us anything, I would say that there is a chance it will follow this pattern again. And when I take you to the Twitter site of SBIVC Trade, you can see that there is some system maintenance happening. Yes, this weekend they have some withdrawal and deposit interruptions with the bank that this site is associated with. It's an SBI net bank. And also there is additional maintenance scheduled for June 28th, which is a Friday, and July 1st, which is a Monday. So it makes me think that all systems are go to implement that live board, and it'll be really nice to see that trading action come off the OTC. And this is a big report. It is from the Financial Action Task Force. It's a lot to consume. There's a lot of additional documents that go with this. Basically, they are going to strengthen the control over the crypto exchanges to prevent money laundering. And they are asking the exchanges to comply very strictly to anti-money laundering. And if we look at this document, this is what goes with it. It's 57 pages long, and by adopting the standards and guidelines, the FATF will make sure that the virtual asset service providers do not operate in the dark shadows, and the exchanges are now required to share their clients' data. And this applies to a situation when one has to transfer money from one exchange to another. And also, too, there are some countries that have some deficiencies. The Bahamas, they have a high level of political commitment, but they need to work on strengthening their AML effectiveness. Same with Botswana and Cambodia. Ethiopia, they have begun reforms, but the FATF wants them to really commit to a sustained effort in the future. Ghana, they need to ensure that they have effective investigations and prosecutions, as well as monitoring the nonprofit organizations. Pakistan, there's some big concerns that they did not complete their action plan. So I think they have a lot of red flags. Panama, they're making progress. Sri Lanka, they had to actually postpone their on-site visit because of the terrorist attack, but they're going to get that visit in October. Anyway, there is interesting commentary to all of the countries that are needing to step up their procedures and guidelines, and I think if you're interested in that, I'll put a link to this in the description below. And in addition to that, I just want to remind everyone that there's 1 trillion of illicitly funneled funds through traditional banking systems. So if you're new to this space and you have been believing that narrative that cryptocurrency is used for money laundering, think again, because that dirty money, according to the Bloomberg report, there are 15 banks on that list that got in big trouble. Those names are like Citi, Group, JP Morgan, HSBC, Danske Bank, Deutsche Bank. Yeah, I think you'll find in these 48 pages, it's interesting examples of actually how money is laundered and how it affects the economy. So this is including illicit flows of money like Ponzi schemes. You also see it through drug smuggling, organized crime, and terrorism. I found this report to be very interesting if you like to look through this kind of statistical analysis. I think you'll find this is a good one. All right, this also is interesting. It's the Kaspersky's cryptocurrency report 2019. I don't know. I take it with a grain of salt because I don't know exactly how they acquired their 13,434 consumers through 22 countries in this survey. It was done between October and November of 2018. Yeah, I don't know what to think. Well, 4 in 5 or 81% of those that they surveyed have never purchased any cryptocurrency, and only 1 in 10% said they fully understand cryptocurrency. And that's actually believable because it is such a big, for someone who studies it every day, you still feel like you just don't have a 100% grasp on it. And so I know it's a big monster to get your head around, especially if you're new to this space. 35% of those that were surveyed think it's a fad. I hate to disagree with that, but I really don't disagree. 14% said they would like to get into cryptocurrency. 15% said they were victims of fraud, which I just wish I could learn more about exactly what kind of fraud they feel they experienced. But one thing for sure in terms of takeaways is that people still feel that it's very risky and there is a huge knowledge gap. So I think that the people who are on Twitter and YouTube and Telegram and Reddit and all of the SNS, if you are new to this space, there are a lot of great resources for you. I would stay away from the traditional media because they just don't know what's going on. So if you're getting your news from traditional media, they're only scratching the surface. They're late. They're misinformed most of the time. I would go deep into the SNS world because I think there's a lot of people with a lot of talent doing a lot of research and bringing the level of understanding and closing that gap much better than traditional media. All right, this is the biggest news of the last 24 hours. SWIFT announces it's going to go all in on blockchain and open finance. So they published a new roadmap. They're hoping to galvanize the global payments community to collaborate, it's a key word, and help drive the progress in cross-border payments. Well, we need to really go back to this January report when we learned that SWIFT was going to do a proof of concept with distributed ledger technology using R3. And I want to take you to the bottom down here where they really cite that they're using the Corda settler. So given the adoption of the Corda platform by trade ecosystems, it was a natural choice to run this proof of concept with R3. And then the CEO of R3 said that following the recent launch of the Corda settler, remember, they were creating the settler to work with digital assets, and XRP was the first digital asset to be introduced into that Corda settler program which was really, really exciting to see. R3 had put the past behind them and was using XRP in that way. So the Corda settler is allowing for the payment of obligations raised on the Corda platform, and it was a logical extension to plug into the SWIFT GPI. And the SWIFT GPI has rapidly become the new standard for to settle payments right across the world. All of the blockchain applications running on Corda will thus benefit from the fast, secure, and transparent settlement provided through the SWIFT GPI bank. So this is why this recent roadmap has everybody wondering if it is going to use an API from Ripple, and will it use XRP? Now, here is in their roadmap. This is, I think, the most important part where it shows it's very promising. Let me read it to you. Our open approach. This is fueling the payments revolution. Our open approach enables a vibrant ecosystem in which banks can differentiate themselves by layering services and products to distinguish their offerings. Okay, in which fintechs, okay, that would be someone like Ripple, and other players, so they are saying third-party participants, can create and offer value-added services, and in which innovation is fueled. So I think from this small statement in a very big roadmap, it shows that they are probably going to give banks options, and it does make sense that Ripple is going to be one of those options. And here you can see we are investing massively in API technology to support this open architecture, making our services available through APIs, enhancing flexibility and extending connectivity. I'm feeling very optimistic, but of course it's very cautious and being cautiously optimistic at the same time. All right, everybody. Well, I made the final cut. Can you believe it? I am in the final node selection. I'm in the blue group. There's 3 groups. It took 5 months for this selection process. And the group that I'm with is going to support the Elixir's development of the decentralized metadata protecting platform that combines true privacy with mainstream scalability. And I'm waiting a couple more weeks now for their roadmap. The blue group is going to be the earliest in regards for the timeline of preparation. There is a white group which is going to be kind of ready in the reserves, I think. So if people in the blue group, if anyone has a problem or can't complete their commitment for whatever reason. I mean, even I mean, I'm going to do my best, but there's no guarantees I'm going to be able to do this. I'm definitely one of the least qualified in this list. If you go down and you look at these applications, I am really out of my league, but I am a hard worker and I'm going to do everything that it takes to be successful. But I just, at this point, I'm excited, but I just can only say I'm going to do my best. There's also a teal group that was assembled for testing. Anyway, I'll keep everybody up to date a little bit here and there as the progress goes forward. All right, I'm jumping into the fluff, everybody. Yeah, okay, so do you know who this is? This is actually an old photograph. This is Rui Hachimura. He is Japanese. He was born in Toyama, and he grew up in Japan. But if you have heard the news, this is what is so exciting. He was just signed with the Washington Wizards in the NBA. I am so excited to be able to watch him play. His mom was Japanese. His dad is from a small country in West Africa called Benin, and it borders Togo and Nigeria. And his name, Rui, means fortress in Japanese. He played basketball and baseball when he was in high school. He was a catcher and a pitcher. Anyway, he's 6 feet 8 inches. That's really tall. So he got some height probably from his dad. I haven't seen a picture of his dad, but Japanese just are not that tall. So he's really going to, I think, be successful. I saw a little bit of his skill on the news, and he looks like he's going to be a great player. I hope he's really, really successful. So what I really thought I would talk about is the area of which he's from. So here you see Japan, here's Tokyo, and he's from this area of the country here, Toyama. And it's really beautiful. They have unbelievable scenery in this part of Japan with snow-capped mountains, and it's very mountainous. And one of those mountain communities is actually on the UNESCO World Heritage, Cultural Heritage Site, because there is a secluded village that built very unique farmhouses in the 1800s. It's called Shirakawa Village, and the Japanese mountain settlement gets a lot of snow. So these were built to withstand that 10 meters or 30 feet of snow that they get in the wintertime. And the fact that it was so secluded, they really are a unique culture in the way of practices and lifestyles. And it's so small that the community doesn't even have a high school. The population is just 1,630 people. There's only 588 households. It actually borders between Toyama and Gifu prefectures, and 95.7% of the area is mountainous. But what is so unique about these homes are the thick thatched roofs. And let me show you. Look at that. Isn't that just a really fabulous picture? This is called a gashozukuri, and look how thick the thatching is on these roofs. Anyway, they really hold up to, look at the snow, the winter times there. And if you do go, you're going to see just the most beautiful part of nature in Japan. And this is an inside shot of the actual construction. Very unique, huh? Very, very unique. I have not seen it. It is on my bucket list. But you can't get to it by train. You have to have a car. And I mean, that's not impossible, but it's not a very convenient place to visit, and it's kind of far from Tokyo. And one last shot to show you, this is a fall scene where they light up the color that occurs on the leaves. It's very, very beautiful. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.